Hi, and welcome once again to another video with some information which I think you're going to find very helpful, very interesting from the blue light beings and in particular Blue Man that Sarah fondly calls BM. And just for those of you that are new to our channel, this is Channeling with Penny and Sarah. And I'm Penny Dix. I'm also an astrologer, and this is Sarah Sandsmith, and she is also an excellent hypnotherapist. And if any of you would like sessions with us, if you go to the description box underneath the video, you will find our website details where you can get in touch with us. So first of all, we've had this ongoing experience that we really didn't expect with UAPs or also UFOs, which now UAPs is the kind of more common word that is used now for unidentified aerial phenomena. And we all fondly know them, of course, as UFOs, unidentified flying objects, which I think is much more exciting. And we had these experiences over the last 2 to 3 weeks of seeing several unidentified flying objects in the skies over the island of Gozo, which is the small sister island to Malta, which is where we live in the Mediterranean. Just to locate us, we are 60 miles south of Sicily, which is that great big island on the bottom of the boot of Italy. And Tunisia is kind of over there, and Libya is kind of over there. But what I'm going to do now is hand over to Sarah, who's going to just update you on some of the information that kind of follows on from the UAPs and the UFOs that we've experienced. So Sarah, how are you?
Yes, well, no sightings to report, unfortunately. The infamous cat, Mad Mystic Murray, has been on high alert, as he always is during a full moon phase, but he has not reported any sightings, which is quite disappointing. We have had something from a gentleman in Canterbury in the UK who said he'd seen something a bit similar, but not quite like ours. So I think, the sighting we've had, it seems to be pretty unique. Obviously there's a lot of activity going on, in the US, etc., globally, which again is nothing like we have seen.
No.
So I think there's lots of explanations flying around about it, drones, unfriendly countries being involved, etc., etc. But nothing has been substantiated, obviously. And there's been nothing that actually looks like what we saw. So, the assumption is that it is something that perhaps was quite unique, quite a personal message for us from the blue light beings, is the conclusion that we're drawing at this time, unless something else comes to light.
Because what was interesting was that one of the comments we had on that particular video where we showed the picture of the blue light, the unidentified aerial phenomena, which had the Ouroboros, which is the snake, maybe it is a snail, the snake that eats its own tail, because it's about the cycle of birth and death. The comment that we received, which, fair enough, fair comment, it's always good to be challenged, was that maybe it was, what was it, a projection?
Yes, apparently there's some kind of video on YouTube where people can take a projector and project things into the sky and whatever. So, I've got to say that our sort of technological capabilities just about extend to making a basic video.
About zero.
Well, yeah. They're not great. So
we have no technological capabilities whatsoever.
So, the thought of us actually getting a projector and doing something so creative, or even actually browsing YouTube for a video on how to do that, kind of blows our minds. It's sort of like, wow.
But we really welcome the sort of everybody having free speech, basically, to say what they feel, what they think, because I think it is important to have open dialogue about these situations. And also the blue light beings have been, kind of impressing on me to impart to you that, there are a lot of energies that are abounding in the universe, in the cosmos, in our galaxy, in our solar system alone, that as yet we have no kind of comprehension for, and there are no scientific instruments that we have that can fully comprehend them. But what Sarah and I are endeavouring to do, and I think you'll agree with me, is for total transparency, total authenticity. We are just giving you what we see. We are channeling what we receive from the blue light beings. For those of you that are just joining us with this particular video, I've been receiving information, channeling from the blue light beings for about the last 30 years. And I think it's the same for you with Blue Man, isn't it?
Well, it's been pretty much a lifetime, but he's only really sort of shown himself as the Blue Man entity in about the last 18 months. But looking back, he was always there. He just has recently made himself known to me. So he's always had this big impact on my life.
Yeah.
I just haven't realised it. And, suddenly he is coming out and saying, I'm here, this is me, get to know me. I'm responsible for all of this that's happened in your life. And obviously then, after the 18 months that we've obviously been chatting on a regular basis, he has then said, I want you to make my messages public, hence this channel.
Which scared you to death.
Well, I thought, yes, this is rather strange. How am I going to do this? How am I going to go about this? And obviously, Penny's had a long-established, successful YouTube channel for her astrology, and she said, "Okay, let's go that route and see how it goes.
Let's do it. Let's see what happens."
Well,
and
exactly.
Here we are.
Well,
and there we are.
we're gradually growing. So obviously, we're really grateful for all the likes and
new
all of you
subscribers.
who've subscribed.
Thank you.
Please continue liking, viewing, sharing,
subscribing.
Tell your friends and family about us, and if they would like to, be entertained by. Somebody described us as hysterical the other day.
Sorry.
Which does sound a bit hysterical. And I was sort of, is that a compliment?
We can take that in whatever way we want to, really.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Exactly.
Which is going to bring us on to our subject for tonight. This is rather a convoluted way to get there. But before we move on from that, I just want to complete the discussion about the UAPs and UFOs, because what I think is so interesting is the experiences that both Sarah and I have had here in Gozo I've seen one, Sarah has seen 3, one being the same one that I saw, is that they're nothing like the recent footage that I've been shown of the unidentified aerial phenomena seen over many areas of the United States. Now, what they are about, I have no idea. And whether they, as Sarah was saying earlier, are drones or we don't know. But the way a friend showed us the video today of some of these drones that have been spotted over the United States, they didn't move in the same way that the objects we saw moved. Ours went like stop, and then and I just can't, we can't explain it. But also, I just want to let you know that there is a wonderful solar weather expert on YouTube called Stefan Burns, who is also an astrologer, interestingly, and he looks at solar weather, because I didn't realize that this was a thing, but apparently solar weather affects the Earth and affects us, because these plasma bursts apparently get shot out of the sun and they come through our kind of, I don't know what it is, stratosphere, ionosphere, and they affect us. So we get migraines, headaches, can't sleep or sleep too much. So they actually can have, on empaths and people who are highly sensitive to energies, huge impact. Now, before we move on to our subject of the day, I just want to link in a little bit of the astrology, because it is really fascinating that if any of you watch my Astrology with Penny channel, I've been talking a lot, as have many astrologers, about Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, enormous change, moving into the sign of Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, the actual sign, is very much about the greater kind of community, the world, the planet, the extended kind of collective. And it's about the higher frequencies that are available for all of us to tune into. And the blue light beings have been impressing on me to make you aware that this is, as we said before, this is not an exclusive club. This is something that is going to become more and more common for all of us over the next 20 years and beyond, because Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years. And basically what this is about is that the planet Uranus rules Aquarius. Uranus is the planet of, for instance, UAPs, UFOs. It's about shocks, it's about the unexpected, and it encompasses that whole kind of package. Now, Stephen Burns, I watched a video of his yesterday, and this is released, I believe, if I'm wrong, I apologize, from NASA, and it was of information they had that a very large object, like as large as another planet, was seen moving near the sun as if it was a kind of ship of some kind, and appeared to be feeding off the energy of the sun. So it's as if it was refueling itself from the plasma bursts from our sun, our star. Remember, our sun is not a planet, it's a star. And these things have the most immense power. They go on for trillions of years until they finally go into supernova, and they eventually just kind of fold in on themselves and disappear. But that, don't worry about it, it's not going to happen yet. So, but check out Stephen Burns. What I will do is in the comments section, because I'm not very technologically good at adding things in description boxes, because you only have so many, you're only allowed so many words. I'm wittering, aren't I? Yes, I'm wittering. Never mind, because we're going to get on the subject of the day. But, however, I'll drop Stephen Burns the link to this particular video in the comment section, and I'll pin it to the top, because I want you to, I really recommend it, because apart from the fact it's had 97,000 views, that's right, isn't it? 97K. Have I got the numbers right? Enough with, yes, with then 3 zeros. And I'm terrible at mathematics. And I was just listening to it gobsmacked. But it's just interesting that it's all coming beyond what we've experienced here and what people have experienced around various other parts of the world. Do you want to say anything, Sarah?
Yes, I mean, I think one of the interesting things that was just mentioned was about the solar weather and how that's affecting people. Because we actually had one of our subscribers mentioning about the common pattern of women waking up at 4 in the morning. Yes. Now, there's a lot of potentially medical reasons, I guess, for that in some cases, but can that be linked to the solar weather?
Because it does seem to be something that people are becoming far more aware of. I mean, I don't know, I'm just kind of acting at the moment as a messenger, because actually that's what our channel is. Channeling, we are messengers. We are messengers from the blue light beings. As you know, Nancy Rebecca was probably the first person, as far as I know, who started to channel all about the blue light beings and the blue light energy, and she's done many videos and many video interviews with Pam Gregory, who's the British astrologer, and you can check those out. And it enabled me, certainly gave me the courage to come out, which sounds really strange, about the fact that the blue light beings have been talking to me for 30 years. I've got 9 of them, and they're always in kind of like a triangle surrounding me. So there's sort of like 1 at the front, and then 4 going up either side, if that makes 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. I can't add up. But I've seen them for years. I've just seen this, and they're tall, they're slim, they are full of light, but it's the blue light, and they give us a form that we can kind of identify with, because it's not actually how they really are. But now I will get on to what we're going to talk about today, which is just really, it's an introduction to the fact that we're coming into the holiday season. And for many people, this is a really difficult time of year, because everything, all our routines, everything is kind of thrown in the air and discombobulated. A lot of us suffer from loneliness, depression at this time of year. There's a lot of pressure to spend time with people one wouldn't normally choose to spend time with. And so the blue light beings have been impressing upon me, and I think Blue Man through you, Sarah, to actually just give you some tips, if you like, on how you can manage these energies, because the energies can get quite divided and split, so that you could be sitting around a dinner table having your holiday meal, your festive meal, your celebration, and they're not talking to each other, and so over there is drunk, and this is going on and that's going on. And so there's this fractious energy, and for people that are very tuned in and sensitive and empathic, it can be a nightmare. Do you want to kick off with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it is a very difficult time for a lot of people. Pressure to spend a lot of money that you don't have, particularly in this economic climate. It can be a very competitive environment. It can be a very, very highly pressured time for people, for relationships as well. So we had a couple of experiences today, actually, where we were sort of drawn into rather dark auric fields, which was really, really uncomfortable. And it made us very conscious that, this time of year, that is something that a lot of other people are going to be experiencing. And it was really all about, how do you overcome that? How do you deal with that? How do you protect yourself from that?
Yeah.
And
because I think the thing is that what I've been receiving with the information I'm getting from the blue light beings is that we have choice. We can choose to tune into a frequency of joy, happiness, harmony, peace. And that what happens is we become sponges, and we soak up the negative feelings that are kind of floating all around us, exuding from other people, because they are not aware enough or in charge of being able to manage these energies. And it's about raising your frequency to a consciousness awareness that you can actually choose and just say, I am actually going to make the most of this holiday season. I am going to be happy. I choose to be happy. I choose to bring happiness into the lives of others. I choose to bring gentleness and love. I mean, I know it sounds crass, but we have a choice. And if we consciously choose to send out these kind of conscious feelings of love, positivity, happiness and joy, it could be infectious.
And I mean, this theme sort of appeared in our minds, prompted by Blue Man, because recently, we've been finding a lot of things, and we touched on this last week, we've been finding ourselves quite hysterical. We've been finding a lot of things really, really funny. We've been laughing an awful lot, and we said, well, this is really good.
Hysterically
this is really
laughing.
healthy. Yeah, I mean, literally to the point of crying. And, you know, that's actually quite refreshing to do that, to actually feel like that.
Yeah.
And we said, well, this is great. This feels really good. And Blue Man had been saying to me, you know, you should laugh, you should have fun, you should have joy in your life, you should find things funny. You take everything far too seriously, it's not good for you. And, you know, obviously there's always the old saying, laughter is the best medicine. And, you know,
what was that quote you said from, you said laughter is the best medicine, and about creating endorphins.
Yes. You know, endorphins, you know, help you feel good. They're great for your well-being. It boosts your immunity. So, you know, there are actual genuine mental and physical health benefits for actually laughing and, you know, having fun and finding things funny. But I think, you know, what BM wanted to stress was that, you know, a lot of people sort of try to make out that these kind of entities are these sort of po-faced, very serious individuals. And what he is saying, and he often delivers things in quite a humorous way, he has a real sense of humour. And I think he knows that he connects with me on that sort of level. But he's saying, you know, we're not these po-faced, serious entities, all of us. You know, we do like to laugh, we do want to convey a message. And because we're conveying it lightheartedly doesn't mean it's any less serious. It's just a means of communication. But, you know, the whole point of the blue light beings communicating with us is to help us. You know, they have our best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they are conveying something lightheartedly, it doesn't detract from the seriousness of the message, potentially.
No.
But, you know, they are trying to emphasise that having joy in your life is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And it's about how we respond to situations, because, you know, obviously terrible things happen, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. And I think this is the difficulty about holiday seasons, is that we expect everything, and there is an expectation to be happy, to be joyous, and a lot of people are just not. And they're still going through some very serious kind of personal difficulties, like health problems, illness, all of that kind of stuff, relationship difficulties, money difficulties, career difficulties. So we are not in any way ignoring that, because it's a truth, it's a fact, it's there. But how we respond to it is the key, because we can choose to respond to the difficulties that present themselves to us in a way that we still are able to lift our frequency, can't we, to a level where actually what we then do is exude a kind of healing energy, so that just your presence, because if people feel your calm, your kind of, it's about being in the present. You know, I've had a funny day. We've both had a funny day, haven't we? We because I'm getting over this back surgery, which some of you know about. I've got to walk a lot. I've got to do a lot of physical exercise. And Sarah said, "Come on, we must go out for a walk, get you down to the square, go and have a coffee, all this kind of thing." So we did. And I found that there was, which is really weird, but a kind of a general anxiety just about being outside. And I thought, my God, I've got to get a life. I've been indoors too long. And I think I have, haven't I?
I think so.
And so she said, for goodness sake, get out of your comfy chair and go for a walk. And actually, of course, we forget a lot of these very simple things, that walking, exercise, laughter, talking to a friend, positive action, positive interaction, positive thought, they are three of the basic core values of cognitive behavioral therapy. And if you can sort of keep that as a kind of conscious awareness of positive thought, positive interaction, so we have positive interaction, We hope we are having positive interaction with you and positive thought. So thinking, okay, something really bad has happened to me today. What is this about? Is it trying to slow me down? Is it trying to point me in a different direction? Is it a course direction? Because often when we keep coming up against closed doors, it's because it's not your door. So that you have to actually say, okay, this isn't the door that I'm supposed to go through. I will continue along this path until, oh gosh, here's a door that is absolutely wide open and inviting. And it may be to a place that you really don't expect and never thought you would journey to. And so it's about being aware of the signs along the way, the signals that come, the messages that come. And to do this, to come back to the sort of the frequency thing, because this is, I think, terribly important. We are moving into an age astrologically where our human consciousness is going to anyway evolve. There is an evolutionary process going on where human consciousness is going to grow and become more aware. And this will include being able to know instinctively who it is when the phone rings, who it is when the door goes, all these kind of things that as yet we have no scientific equation for, but that's coming. That is most definitely coming. I mean, you know, they just keep telling me at the moment, just sort of. So
okay.
So I'm just going on for a little bit, because the blue light beings are saying that it's just so important that people are aware how much actually choice they have, and how much we are actually in charge of our emotions. We can choose how we respond to situations that are dark, negative, and awful. So that even though, as we know, there are some horrendous things unfolding on the planet currently, and have been all year. This year has been horrific for many, many hundreds of thousands of people. So it's not in any way to negate that or take the impact of it away. But if one is, say, fortunate enough to not be part of it, then it's about taking that as a positive kind of gift that one has been given, so that one can actually do something on a conscious level of healing and light energy being sent out to the areas that need the healing, so that you can just take 5 minutes a day to sit quietly and send out that love, healing, positive energy. Maybe sit with a friend, form a little group. And even if you can't all be together in the same place, just say, look, at 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening or a Saturday evening or whatever it is, let's just sit quietly and think about how we can send out positive energy and healing to the planet. Now, Pan Gregory the astrologer already has set one of these groups up, and it's at 7 o'clock GMT on a Sunday evening. And it's a great thing to be part of, and it is having a huge impact. But it doesn't just have to be that. We can all set up our groups so that we're covering all the energy all of the time, with little groups of people popping up, sending out this positive energy. And not only will it help the collective, but it will also really help you. It'll really help you to feel centered, balanced in the present. And this comes back to the fact that today I was feeling full of anxiety, and now I've worked through it and realized that what it was that I wasn't listening to what the blue light beings were saying to me, which was actually what they were saying was, for goodness sake, will you stop it? Just relax. Be in the present. Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now, said, be here now. When you are in the now, we are not aware of the past or the future, because you know what? There is only now. And I'm at this point going to hand over to Sarah.
Right, well, I think we've sort of covered that subject, which we thought was very relevant, because obviously it's holiday season coming up for everybody. So what I'm going to do now is plug our predictions for 2025, which will be appearing hopefully on Friday, which I think you will find very, very interesting. And
do you want to just give a little kind of teaser in the sense of BM has actually said to you, well, he's given you his take.
He's given me some quite specific things, but he's also given me some things which perhaps need a bit more interpretation, which could be applied to maybe a couple of different things. There's something very significant going to be revealed to be a bit of a sham, where basically people globally have been misled, shall we say. And I think that could apply to more than one thing potentially. He's interested in politics, he's interested in history, he's interested in the British royal family. There's all kinds of... He's not particularly into celebrities, so I'm afraid there's not going to be any celebrity predictions in there, at least to date, because I don't think he's particularly into that sort of thing.
So I see, because the blue light being energy is around us all the time, as I looked at Sarah then, I just saw this shaft of blue light. It'd be very interesting on the video if it ever shows up, but probably won't. But
if anyone can see it, actually, that would be amazing. So do let us know in the comments if you did see something. But that tends to appear when they are validating something that I'm saying. So I could be saying something incredibly outlandish, and suddenly they'll appear, and you'll go, "Oh, right,
my God,
okay, they're agreeing with that."
Yeah.
So anyway, our predictions will be coming. There's quite a lot of them.
And I'm going to bring in the astrological side to see whether the astrology, which my videos on 2025 astrological overview for all the zodiac signs are on my channel, Astrology by Penny Dix. And I'm going to look at the astrological side to see how it links in, debunks or confirms what BM is suggesting. Or, well, actually, BM will be saying, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm always right. So,
yes. So we're going to record that tomorrow, and that'll be up Friday. And then we have our question and answer on New Year's Day.
Yeah. And over the holiday period, we'll be making some quite interesting content. A bit different, which will appear in the new year.
Yes, and we're going to be getting out and about. We're going to go on location, if I can hold my hand steady enough to hold the camera.
Otherwise, it's going to be a bit sort of Blair Witch product, which actually did rather well. So.
Yes, exactly. So perhaps that's quite a good thing.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Oh, look, it's 33 minutes and 22 minutes it was, 22 seconds. Do you think this is a good place to...
Well, I think it probably is, yes. So, we'd like to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season, and, please keep watching us, liking, subscribing, sharing with everybody you know, and even people you don't know.
Yes. And as I say, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the support you've given us so far. We hope we can continue to stimulate your imaginations, your creativity, and most importantly, your consciousness, and for you to recognize and appreciate that we all have an immense amount of psychological and spiritual power which we don't use. And hopefully through our interactions with you, we will all grow and be able to find that we all get into this kind of energy in a much easier and smoother way. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again very soon. And if my shoulder will let me, I'm going to have to go with this hand, sorry. Okay. I'm going to, because I've got to get to the button to switch it off. As I said, we're not really very technically set up particularly well. But anyway, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And it's goodbye from her, and it's goodbye from... Do you say goodbye?
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Thanks, guys. Bye.